Hi, coming to this set now.
Is also a relatively easy set. Here, what you have to do is you have to match institute name with the number of journals published with the number of institutions published in, along with the room number a particular professor is staying in. Okay, so what you have is a room number, then you have the number of or the institute name, then you have the number of journals that is published, and then you have the number of institutions a particular professor donates to. Okay, so this is what we are going to look at. How many professors are there? There are total 6 professors who are staying in room number 201 to 206. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Let's say these are the 6 professors. Room numbers are 201, 202, 203, 204, 205 and 206. Okay. Now a very simple key to solve this question is, initially if you look at the first 3-4 statements given, they don't give us a very solid information about the room or the professor or the journal. That gives us a vague idea of who is whom, but we cannot actually plot anything down in the table. But if you look at the this statement here, now this is one statement which gives us a very solid information about the arrangement. This is also a statement which gives us a very solid information. So let's actually start reading statements from starting from this statement. The professor in room number 203 published in 12 journals. 203 में जो है he published in 12 journals and donated to 8 institutes. Very good. The professor who published in 16 journals donated to 24 institutes. So जिसने भी 16 journals publish किया है he donated to 24 institutes. किसने 16 journals publish किए हैं वो अभी नहीं पता, so we'll have a look at it later. Next, professor in room number 205 published in 8 journals. 205 professor published in 8 journals and donated to 2 institutions less than the professor from Mercury last year. So Mercury में जिसने भी donate किया था उससे 2 कम इंस्टीट्यूट्स में इसने डोनेट किया है रूम नंबर 205 वाले ने. ओके, the Mercury professor staying in an odd numbered floor. So Mercury professor is either in 201, 203 or 205. This will be Mercury professor. Okay, the Mars professor is staying 2 rooms ahead of Pluto. Okay, Mars is 2 rooms ahead of Pluto. This is, I'm assuming this is ahead. Yeah. Okay, Mars is 2 rooms ahead of Pluto. Who is staying 2 rooms ahead of Mercury? Okay, so Pluto is staying 2 rooms ahead of Mercury. This is what is given. In ascending order of rooms. This is ascending order of rooms. So Pluto's room number will be greater than Mercury's room number and Mars's room number will be greater than Pluto's room number. Now we know Mercury is in odd numbered floor, right? So odd numbered floor matlab या तो 201 होगा मर्करी या 203 होगा या फिर 205 होगा. मर्करी अगर 205 हो गया तो प्लूटो 207 होना पड़ेगा. दैट्स नॉट पॉसिबल, राइट. मर्करी अगर 203 हो जाता है तो प्लूटो 205 हो जाएगा. दैट इज फाइन, बट मार्स 207 हो जाएगा. दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट पॉसिबल. दैट मीन्स मर्करी हैज टू बी रूम नंबर 201. Then you have Pluto, which will be room number 203. And then you have Mars, which will be room number 205. Okay, so this is the second last statement, the information that we can draw from second last statement. Next is professors from Mercury and Jupiter do not stay in room number 206. So 206 में Jupiter नहीं है. Fine. Okay, now we have seen these last few statements. Now let's come back to the first statement onwards. Okay, this was the first statement. Professor in room number 202 has published in twice as many journals as the professor who donated in 8 institutes last year. 202 में जो professor है, he has published twice as many journals as the professor who donated to 8 institutes. So this is the professor who donated to 8 institutes and he published in 12 journals. So 202 wala will publish in twice of 12, यानी 24 institutes. Okay, next, professor from Uranus and professor in room number 206 together published in 40 journals. So Uranus and 206 are two different professors. So Uranus will not be 206. So Uranus and Jupiter will be either 202 or 204. So 206 कौन हो जाएगा? अब बचा नेपट्यून है, दिस विल बी 206. जुपिटर 206 पे नहीं आ सकता था और यहाँ पे ये मेंशन किया है यूरेनस इज अ डिफरेंट प्रोफेसर and 206 is a different professor, hence Uranus can also not stay in room number 206. So bacha sirf Neptune, only Neptune will be able to stay in room number 206. Okay, so let's look at professor from Uranus and professor in 206 together published in total 40 journals. So this professor and the Uranus professor together published in 40 journals. अभी Uranus कहाँ आएगा, यहाँ या यहाँ आएगा नहीं पता, so we'll have a look at it later. Next is professor from Jupiter published in 8 journals less than the professor from Pluto. Okay, Jupiter वाला professor published 8 journals less than Pluto. Pluto 12 है, so Jupiter will, the professor in Jupiter will publish 8 less, यानी 4 journals. So Jupiter professor will publish 4 journals, hence Jupiter cannot come here because this is 24. So ये हो जाएगा Jupiter and he will publish 4 journals. So this will be Uranus, and in the previous statement we already saw that professor from Uranus and 206 published total 40 journals. So if this is 24, this will be 16. 40 minus 24 is 16. So if this is 16, we already know the professor who publishes 16 journals will donate to 24 institutes. This was already given to us in which statement? This statement here. Okay, now let's look at this statement here. The professor from Jupiter published in 8 journals less than the professor from Pluto but donated to 10 more institutes last year. So Jupiter wala donates to 10 more institutes compared to Pluto. So he will donate to 18 institutes here. Okay. Next is 4 times the number of journal publications by the professor in room number 204. So room number 204, 4 times the number of publications. So 4 times of 4 is 16. Is lesser than the number of institutes to which he donated last year. So 16 is less than 18, which is fine. मतलब ये अगर नहीं भी दिया होता तो भी चलता अपने को. Fine. So far of the information given, this is the table that we can draw. So far, we do not yet know about this place, this donated amount institutes here, and we don't know about this also. Mercury आएगा तो ये भी आ जाएगा, but we don't know Mercury so far. So let's look at the questions actually before we worry about these unfilled places. The first question is, in which room is the Mars professor staying? So the Mars professor, where's the Mars professor? He's staying in room number 205. So Mars professor stays in room number 205, hence the answer is option C. Next, how many institutes did the Jupiter professor donate to last year? So the professor from Jupiter donated to 18 institutes last year. Hence, the answer is option C, 18. Moving on to third question. The professor of which institute is staying in room number 206? So the professor from Neptune is staying in room number 206. Hence, the answer is option D, Neptune. Next, professor of which institute donated to 24 institutions last year? So donation 24 institutes is the professor from Neptune. So this will also be option D, Neptune. Next, the professor of which institute published in maximum number of journals? The options are Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune and Mars. Okay, so Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune and Mars. Of these 4, maximum number of journals are published by the professor from Uranus. So the answer will be option B, Uranus. And finally, sixth question. In how many journals did the Jupiter professor publish? So the Jupiter professor published in 4 journals. Hence the correct option is option B, 4. Fine. That's it for this set. Thank you.